It always seems impossible until it's done. Nelson Mandela, my friends, each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes, you will master these charts if you just put in the time and the energy. And it's not a lot of time and not a lot of energy, but it builds up over time. Everything is down for the day except 20-year U.S. government bonds. Now, everything's down pretty big today, too. The S&P 500, 2%. The NASDAQ 100 over 2.5%. Gold pulling back 1.5%. Bitcoin down 2.66%. Let's first get into the S&P 500. Now you can see we've not had a lot of volume going into the fourth week. We've been below average this entire time. We have seen the market peak. We saw the peak out there at 586.12. That was 2 weeks ago. Last week, 584.85. This week, the high, 583.32. We are getting a red spinning top after peaking. Now, I'd feel better about a rotation over if, of course, we had volume to back it up. We can see on the 2-day, this is the first day of the latest 2-day candle. It'll finish drawing tomorrow. A dramatic drop through after sort of languishing above. 2-day, first day of the latest 2-day candle, just hammering through. Look at in the morning, further down in the afternoon on Thursday. Stocks, at least the S&P, dropping like a rock. Look at the NASDAQ, though. Average volume last week, the high the week before was 498. That's 2 weeks ago, 498.83. Last week, $500.28. This week, 501.35. Now, again, as we look at where things might be going, we have a doji here. We're not quite up to average volume yet. We could be on Friday. What if Friday's another big downer day and it goes red? Might be considering going short. Look at what has happened on the 2-day. It is just like the S&P slammed through the weekly trend line. Down in the morning, not quite down as much in the afternoon, but closed, of course, with the second candle well below the weekly trend line, the entire candle below the weekly trend line. And look at all the volume. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on Friday. I might be ready to pull a trigger on a practice down trade. We'll see. Look at 20-year U.S. government bonds, lower low this week, a little up for the day, really popped up on Wednesday and then sort of moved off of that. Hasn't hit the high it hit on Wednesday again. Still staying just below the weekly trend line. So, of course, in our down trade on 20-year U.S. government bonds, we are still short. But it is interesting seeing what the market is doing. I was reading today that when the market's going up into a presidential election, typically means that, the market is for the person who is in office. If the market's trashing, of course, it's trashing that person out. So it is interesting. Maybe tomorrow will be a big up day. I don't know. But I'm just watching, paying attention as we listen to the news and just seeing how that plays out in the market. So that's where we are on stocks and bonds. Look at gold. Gold really pulling back down in the morning, not quite as much in the afternoon. But after 2 days of good solid up movement, but you know what? It chewed right through it in that down move. Still an up week, still nice volume on the weekly. We have a doji here on the 2-day, and like I said, on the half day, look at all that volume in the morning, lower than average volume in the afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on gold. Gold may just be taking a break, digesting those gains, getting ready to move up again. Lastly, we will take a look at Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin on the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart and on our Bitcoin ETF. It is hit up on its higher high and has, of course, burned off of that yesterday. Well, that happened on Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, just sort of pegging along lower. And today, down in the morning, further down in the afternoon with a good bit of volume. You can see for this week, we already have above average volume. So we'll be paying close attention as we go into Friday. Weekly vertical crossovers will be released after the show today to our Patreon supporters. 3 levels you can support what we do here And of course, each and every week, you get up to 20 weekly vertical crossovers. That's when there on the S&P 500, you have a change from green to red or red to green on the weekly chart. And of course, we do a little bit of the legwork for you. Take a look at what the volume's showing. Find some that might be acceptable for you to practice trade. So appreciate you being with us. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World headquarters.